What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's Warzone video, we're going to be talking about an optic. I keep getting tagged in YouTube and TikTok videos, both explaining to me that I have to try out this SUSAT or SUSAT Multizoom scope from the Cold War weapons. I keep getting comments like, Lucci, this optic gives your gun no recoil. This optic cuts your gun's recoil in half. All types of really bold claims. And in the Warzone community, a lot of people tend to just make overhyped, over-exaggerated claims on a lot of not only guns, but attachments. And I'm normally not quick to believe it just because I've been through the ringer. This is my first rodeo. So normally I like to test things out myself and actually see if it does anything before I give that information to you guys. The last thing I ever want to do is give you guys false information. So I figured I'd test this SUSAT Multizoom scope out today and see, does it actually reduce recoil compared to things like the 3x and the 2x scope from Cold War weapons. Before we get into the testing, if you're not already subscribed here, make sure you hit that sub button with the bell noti turned on. We are well on our way to 300,000 subscribers. I think at the time of me recording this video, we're about to hit 270K, probably today, honestly. So if you want to help out and you find this video useful and you enjoy the content, not only check to see if you are subscribed with the bell noti on, but give the video a like because it really helps out. So just judging based off of the stats, I don't see anything on the SUSAT Multizoom that tells me that it would give you better recoil control. But then again, in Modern Warfare weapons, we had things like the VLK site that didn't say they gave us better recoil control, but through testing proved that they did. So I can understand why a lot of people would have that type of assumption, especially because, like, we don't really know what half of the Cold War attachments do most of the time. So I get it. But I have to test this out myself and see if it actually makes a difference. So the SUSAT Multizoom is a 2 or 4x optic. It's almost like a variable zoom optic. You can change whether you want to have like the closer 2x zoom or the further out 4x zoom. So it seems pretty cool. But let's get into the actual testing and see how the recoil compares to things like the Axial Arm 3x scope and the Vision Tech 2x scope, which I think are two pretty popular scopes among the Warzone Cold War weapons. All right. So we're not going to go too far out. We're going to go about, I don't know, we'll go about 20 meters out, give or take. We'll try to get it as consistent as possible. All right, so we're going to go about 20 meters out. And the first sight we're going to actually test is the 3x scope on the Krig. And let's just see what the 3x scope does. So that right there is the 3x scope on the Krig. You can see the recoil right there. All right, so next up, 20 meters back again, we have the Vision 2x scope, and we're going to see how this does. Pretty similar recoil pattern and recoil control from the 3x to the 2x. Really not much has changed here. And last but not least, we're going to be testing the SUSAT Multizoom, which is the scope that everybody keeps tagging me in on YouTube and TikTok. I've seen a bunch of YouTube videos and TikToks about this, and everything seems to have contradicting information, so I wanted to see for myself if this reticle actually, or I'm sorry, this optic actually reduces your recoil, or if it's just placebo. I needed to see for myself so I can give you guys an honest opinion on whether you should use this over something else or not. I've seen a lot of clickbaity-esque YouTube titles and TikTok videos, and I just can't decide for myself. I haven't used it enough, so I brought it into the testing range. And we're going to see what this does. So again, make sure we're 20 meters back, same as the other two. And we're going to do the same thing. Now this has multi-zoom. You can do it like this, or you can scope in. It's almost like a variable zoom. We're going to try it zoomed out first and start at the same spot and just let it go. Now, that is 30 rounds downrange. If anything, it kicked up a little bit harder than the 3x and the 2x scope, which is the 3x right here, and the 2x scope recoil is right here. If anything, it went up a little bit further, and I started down a little bit further based on this bullet spray. So let's do it with the zoomed in version again. So we're going to go back about 20 meters. And we'll zoom in. So make sure we're 20 meters back, and we're going to use the zoomed in version of this scope and see what happens. And just as I thought, nothing changes. If anything, it even kicks a little bit harder and has a slightly different recoil pattern with this gun. I mean, they're all similar, but the SUSAT Multizoom is not doing this magical recoil control that everybody seems to think it is. I mean, the proof is in the pudding right here. This is the 3x, this is the 2x, and both of these are the SUSAT Multizoom with the low zoom and the high zoom. And guys, I'm not seeing a difference at all. Now, the only thing I can say is maybe you could make an argument that the SUSAT Multizoom actually has a little bit less visual recoil. Maybe it feels better to shoot, and that's why people think it has no recoil or a lot less recoil than the traditional sights you're used to using. But guys, I mean, right there, it's proof enough. The Optic is not actually doing anything to reduce your recoil. Again, I feel like this is all placebo, and people are very quick to jump on trends and not actually go through testing, like a lot of the guys do that test a lot of this stuff, like JGod, Ponyhoff, Exclusive Ace, etc. I'm not normally like the testing type of guy, but I keep getting tagged in this, so I had to test it myself to actually see if there really was a difference or if it's just people kind of capping on the timeline. And to be honest with you, I think people are just perceiving what feels like a visual recoil reduction. Maybe it's a little less harsh with the bounce when you're in this scope compared to others. I think they're perceiving that and just feeling like they get less recoil when in actuality they're really not. Guys, that's it for today's video. Again, on the way out, make sure to see if you are subscribed with the bell noty on, and if you're not, what are you doing? We drop Warzone content here all the time. You can follow my TikTok or come check me out in a live stream over at twitch.tv/LuchiTV. All the links to my socials be in the bio below. And like the video if today's video helped you out. I hope this cleared some of the air with this SUSAT Multizoom scope that I've been seeing so much talk about. You can feel free to go test things out further if you like, and let me know if you find any changes that maybe I didn't notice. But just off of initial impressions and comparing it to the recoil side by side, literally side by side with the 2x, 3x, and the multi-zoom, there's literally no difference in vertical recoil control. So I don't know where people are getting this from. I think this is a cap, to be honest with you, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.